Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wellbeing. We are a tribe planted with purpose. My name is Dr. Allison Hull, and I am presenting today with my partner, Kelly Matthew.
Hello and welcome.
We are so grateful that you are with us today so we can share with you our complete corporate wellness transformation program. And let me first highlight this first slide and this quote because it's so meaningful for what we stand for and the foundation of our program. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. Thomas Edison. Yes, our program is largely based on nutrition, but let us also kind of share with you that it's far more than that. It is a multidisciplinary program that really changes people from the inside out. And with our experience in corporate wellness, we know that the impact that contributing and focusing on the well-being of our employees, what that can do for your organization as a whole. And the approach that we use is an integrative, once again, multidisciplinary approach. And really the foundation of what we're trying to achieve is to help you and your employees learn this process of a somatic awareness. And this somatic awareness is essentially the ability to kind of tune in to how our environment, our nutrition, our fitness, our relationships, our sleep affect us. So many of us are just merely walking through life, surviving, treading water, when at the end of the day, we really want to thrive and live in life. I'm a primary care physician. I'm a dual board certified pediatrician and adult internist. And the reason why I created Wellbeing, a Tribe Planted with Purpose, is because every day I see patients in my office, young and old, who need help, support, education, accountability. And I would love to just merely spend that 15, 30 minutes with them in my office and tell them what to do, and they just miraculously make it happen. But the reality is we need a lot of help. We need a lot of support. And that's why we created Wellbeing. And at the end of the day, the somatic awareness is going to come from the tools that we teach within this program. We teach intuition, and we couple that with technology in order to really harness this ability to know and feel well metabolically, cognitive, and emotionally. So hang with us on this presentation, and we will hopefully enlighten you as to all the many reasons why you and your team should consider being a part of our program. So as I already mentioned about myself, I'm a dual board certified pediatrician and adult internist, and myself and my team, we created Wellbeing, a Tribe Planted with Purpose in 2018. Prior to that, I created and directed an employee and provider wellness program for Florida Medical Clinic, the organization in which I'm a physician for. And that we started in 2015. And this really has given me and my team the insight as to the value of creating a culture of wellness in an organization. And we're going to talk more about that in this presentation. I was a graduate and chief resident of a USF combined internal medicine and pediatric program in 2009. So I've been practicing medicine for a number of years now. My medical degree is from the Des Moines University, and I received a bachelor's of science in food science and human nutrition from the University of Florida. So nutrition has always been a key component of my passion in medicine, but I will tell you, the recommendations that I give today with my patients are light years away from what I learned in my undergraduate education. And that's a big component of the program is really identifying truly what is the ideal human diet. I'm on the board of the Foundation of Caring for Our Organization and a member of the Gold and Humanism Honor Society. I'm now going to let Kelly Matthew introduce herself.
Hello. My background is in community health, also known as public health. And for the past 20 years, I've been working in the corporate wellness, corporate health arena and have been witness to its ever-changing evolution. I had the privilege of working with Dr. Hull with the Florida Medical Clinic's Employee Wellness Program as well. I am also a certified intrinsic health coach. And if I'm being honest, this is probably one of my most favorite parts of what I get to do. And seeing the breakthroughs that our participants make when they dig deep and they take time to focus on themselves is just so heartwarming and truly inspiring. I'm excited to be part of this team to be bringing you real well-being solutions for your organization that you will see value in, and you will see the impact long after the program is over for your employees.
And let me highlight, everyone, that Kelly has like 20 plus years of experience working in corporate wellness. Such a beautiful asset to our team. Kim Chisholm is our registered dietitian. She also has a master's in public health. She's our director of nutrition, and she as well has many years of experience. And she's worked in all sorts of facets, whether it be private counseling or in a school setting. She's worked at Moffitt, and she's been with us as well since the onset of well-being. Mindy Henson is our registered nurse, and she works closely with our participants who have chronic disease states such as hypertension and type 2 diabetes. She adds great value to our program. Callie Crow is a consultant that we use often in order to really thrive in the cognitive and behavioral arena. She's a licensed mental health counselor. She has over 20 years of experience. I use her personally with patients all the time, and the feedback I get is phenomenal. And she's just been a tremendous asset to help our patients thrive in their behavioral changes throughout this program. I want to take a moment and really highlight the different chronic disease states that we see improved going through well-being. Metabolic and cardiovascular diseases. So cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death in the United States today. And the beautiful thing is we have such ability to offset that disease development. And in this category, we see prediabetes, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, which is a constellation of hypertension, high triglycerides, low HDL, which is good cholesterol, and typically impaired fasting glucose. We see high blood pressure, abnormal lipid levels, once again, high triglycerides, low HDL, and polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is actually the #1 cause of infertility. And when participants go through our program, we see tremendous outcomes in all of these areas. We get to see blood pressure reductions, blood glucose control improve dramatically, and patients even go off certain medications. And being that this is the #1 cause of death here in the United States and chronic disease states, what a beautiful ability to help offset that. Second, I have our cognitive health category. So cognitive function, when we improve our nutrition, it is amazing the impact it has on our cognitive well-being. And we explain the science behind that. Migraine headaches, a low carbohydrate and ketogenic diet, which is a part of our program, has been proven to help reduce the frequency and severity of migraine headaches. Neurodegenerative diseases such as dementia, Alzheimer's disease. We see mood improvement with depression and anxiety. There's so much connection between what we eat and our fitness and our sleep, our gut health, etc., that have an impact on chronic mood disorders. And let me just kind of pause here for a second to really highlight the impact of chronic mood disorders, just, certainly within the workplace and far beyond. Anxiety plagues so many individuals. It is actually the most common mental health disorder here in the United States. And when somebody has anxiety and it is not managed correctly, it has a plethora of repercussions. Patients with anxiety are found to seek medical care 3 to 6 times more likely than someone who doesn't. And oftentimes they're coming to a physician not because they're pinpointing it's anxiety, but rather certain physical manifestations that they have no idea is related to their anxiety. I see this all the time, chest pain and shortness of breath and dizziness that really are physical manifestations of anxiety. Let's talk about depression. Depression is the #1 cause of disability in the United States for individuals aged 15 to 44 years of age. And the problem is many people have depression. They don't recognize it. And even if they do, they don't seek help. 40% of those who have depression don't seek help and are not receiving help. So when we incorporate mindfulness and the identification of mood disorders within the program, that has a great impact on your employees. Because when people have depression, it absolutely impacts their presenteeism, their absenteeism, their productivity in the workplace. And quite frankly, it's the most costly disorder that you are dealing with your patients, with your employees, excuse me. Also within the program, we talk about sleep deprivation, insomnia. So many of us are not getting the adequate sleep we need. And when we highlight the importance of this and walk them through the process in order to create what we call adequate sleep hygiene, it makes such an impact. Let's move over to gut health, reflux disease, fatty liver disease, far more common today, and actually the most common cause of cirrhosis of the liver, not alcohol, but fatty liver disease. And as a primary care physician, I can tell you, so many of us are walking around with fatty liver disease, and it's directly impacted by our nutrition and our fitness. And we have seen within our program complete resolution of fatty liver disease looking at CT imaging pre and post program. So this is definitely a disease process that can be mitigated through the right nutrition. We see dyspepsia and irritable bowel syndrome. This is another complaint I see in my office all the time. Food just does not make people feel good when we're not eating the right foods. And it's amazing what happens when we eat the right foods. So once again, another common problem that people seek care with a physician. And then this last category here, chronic inflammation, osteoarthritis, low back pain, chronic inflammatory conditions, autoimmune disorders. When we eat the right foods, when we kind of take away that degree of weight on our joints, it is amazing, time and time again, how many people come back to us and say, wow, I don't have nearly the severity of pain in my knees and my back that I did prior to going through this process. And it's not just because of the weight loss, but it's because we're reducing inflammation within the body in so many different mechanisms. So let me talk here a little bit about our experience in running corporate wellness. So our team developed the FMC Employee Wellness for Life back in, oh gosh, 2015. Thank you, Kelly. I was trying to get those dates. 2015. And, you know, we built this from ground zero up. So we can relate to the difficulties with integrating such a culture of wellness within an organization, and certainly getting people engaged within the program. So we can completely understand with all of that, and we can give you tools and guidance and how to make that happen. And I'm extremely proud to say that just a couple of years into the program, when we connected with Cigna, our insurance changed. We were originally insured through Humana. And then in 2018, we switched over to Cigna. And in that first year, we won the Cigna Wellbeing Award. We won it again in 2019 and actually again in 2020. So we have built something from ground zero up. And I will say, of all the programming that we have offered to our employees, the well-being program, the exact program that we are sharing with you today, has proven to be the most effective wellness intervention in our employee population. And we would get feedback from employees that have worked within our organization for 20 plus years and say, wow, never have I felt so valued as an employee until this. And we got to see the transformation of our employees, not just with nutrition and weight loss, but in confidence, in relationship restoration, in camaraderie in the workplace. So we got to see this impact on so many different levels. And I will tell you, healthy behaviors directly correlate to increase in work productivity. And we got to see that firsthand. So let's share a little bit about the research that has been conducted on incorporating a culture of wellness within your organization. In 2017, UCLA Riverside study found that companies offering a wellness component saw a significant increase in productivity, almost one full workday a month. 2008 Healthway study found that employees with unhealthy diets were 66 more likely to have high presenteeism than those who ate a whole food diet. And then employees who did not exercise regularly were 50% more likely to have high presenteeism than those who exercise regularly. This is where the value of a culture of wellness can be so impactful. And we know, guys, from the research that presenteeism is actually 2 to 3 times more costly than the healthcare costs for your company. So while we would love to see the healthcare costs decrease dramatically, year one after incorporating well-being and Try Planted with Purpose, the reality is that's likely not going to happen. But you will see a more active, engaged, present workforce. We can help them eating more healthily, get them exercising, improving their sleep. You will see far more productive employees at work. So this culture of wellness that I keep referring to, we want to create a sense of community within your organization. And listen, I no doubt you already have a culture of community, but I will tell you, this program will absolutely take it to the next level. Why? Because it's going to go beyond kind of that logo and that name badge. It's going to go beyond that branding component of your corporation. Let me share a little bit about some research. Two gentlemen by the name of McMillan and Chavez, in 1986, they conducted research on how do you really identify and define a community. And let me share with you guys that essentially, after they conducted their research, how they define a sense of community is the individuals feeling as though they belong. They want to feel as though they matter to one another and to the group. And at the end of the day, they want a shared faith that the members within this group, their needs are being met. So we want to create a culture of wellness where your employees feel as though their needs are being met, that they matter and they belong. And when you say to them, hey, we are creating this, or we're offering this program for you because you matter to us, your well-being, your health, your relationships, your sleep, that matters to us. Your employees will feel that, and in return, they will invest themselves better into your organization. We want to create healthier employers, happier employees. And I say this all the time in my practice, once again, no matter what the age is, because I see newborns to 100. I don't want somebody suffering through eating salmon and broccoli and being miserable, right? We want to create this kind of behavior change that results in joy and optimism. And that's the beauty of well-being. We kind of create this psychology piece that helps them feel not that they're sacrificing in this process, but that they're thriving in this process. Let's talk about more productive employees and better employee retention. The research shows that when an organization invests in an employee wellness program, employees want to stay. And when we can impact retention, once again, that value of your investment can absolutely be felt. The research shows that for most positions, when you can retain an employee, you're offsetting 16 to 20% of their salary cost per year by retaining them. That's how much it costs to onboard, train, and invest in a new employee. And if we can make a workplace where people feel they matter and they want to stay, that's going to have a tremendous impact on your cost of retention. So I want to run through here what well-being looks like per the 12-week schedule. So I'm going to touch base a little bit on every week. So let me explain that this program is 12 weeks, and once a week, you and your employees will get one class highlighting each of these topics. And each class session is roughly about 1 hour. And this is going to be via recorded webinar, and I'm the one teaching each of these classes. So number one, week one, starting line measurements and identifying the ideal human diet. This is when we walk them through the process of what to expect and kind of break down what this ideal human diet should be. Because once again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And we want to share with you the research, our experience in the program, and really what we should be consuming as a human. Week two, goal setting and gut healing foods. This is when we really kind of ignite the psychology of behavior change and goal setting to lead your employees to be successful. This is what differentiates well-being from most other kind of programs, is the component, the emphasis of how to change human habits and behaviors. And we couple this with gut healing foods because, believe it or not, there's a direct association between our gut health and our brain health. And when we can mirror and marriage the two together, has a much greater impact. Week 3, mastering detours and debunking the mystery of our dietary guidelines. Right, so there's once again a lot of wrong information in there, and we want to explain kind of where these dietary guidelines came from, why they are wrong and unscientifically sound, and what we should really be consuming. And we couple this with mastering detours, once again a psychology piece that has been shown to be extraordinarily effective in behavior change with our participants. Week 4, guidelines to understanding nutritional ketosis. Let me be very transparent. This program does promote a low carbohydrate and or ketogenic nutritional path. And why? Because the research shows that this is how we really move the mark to optimize our metabolic health. Insulin, glucose, hemoglobin A1C, lipid profiles, all of these things are improved when we follow a low carbohydrate and or ketogenic path. Week 5, eat this, not that, choosing that low carb or ketogenic plan. So this is where we differentiate the two paths. We help people pick the path that is right for them based upon their goals, their underlying health conditions. Week 6, tracking and navigating your plan. This is where we really go into implementation mode. How do we live life? How do we, go to parties and restaurants? How do we have these work meetings and still stay on track? Week 7, fasting. Fasting obviously has become far more kind of popular today, and we want to really teach the right way to do this. It is a beautiful catalyst to promote the goals that people are seeking, but we have to make sure we do this safely and effectively. Week 8, moving for life. The education that we incorporate in week 8 will help people identify reasons to incorporate exercise far beyond weight loss and how they look physically. The cognitive, the emotional, the sleep, and we teach them how to start moving more no matter where they are on that spectrum. Week 9, stress, sleep, and balanced living. Once again, such a vital piece of our well-being that is often overlooked in our society. No more badge of honor to sleep 5 to 6 hours a night. Week 10, cooking demonstration. So we're going to show you all that you do not need to be a master chef to be able to cook at home, right? Kelly and myself and my team, we're going to show you how to cook healthfully, efficiently, affordably in your own home. Number 11, week 11, food as medicine. This is where we really reframe eating that salad at lunchtime. Food is medicine when we know how it affects us, right? We want to, once again, behavior change. We want to look at eating healthfully as something that promotes optimism and joy as opposed to a sacrificial experience. And then last, finish line measurements. This is where we get to kind of highlight all the beautiful change that has transpired in these 12 weeks. And then we lead you and your employees how to incorporate these changes lifelong. And part of that is kind of promoting leadership and leading the way for their coworkers, for their family members, friends, etc. Because you as leaders completely can relate to the fact that when we are in a position of leadership, we're far more likely to be accountable ourselves. So Kelly's going to take over here on this slide.
Yes, so experiencing well-being within your organization, as Dr. Hull mentioned, the webinars come to you via email, and we like to have them available for 3 weeks. We can certainly work with your organization if we need to adjust this timeline, but we encourage participants to schedule a consistent day and time to watch this weekly webinar. If possible, during work time would be fantastic to work with that kind of culture of wellness that we're trying to build in, and for them to know that this truly is something important that you want them to engage in. Our participants also receive a digital nutrition resource guide, weekly session notes, a virtual grocery store tour where we take them around one of our local grocery stores and show them how to choose the right foods. We go over some food label reading because they're a little tricky. We give you sample meal plans, a private Facebook page for our group, for our tribe, an option for smaller teams among coworkers. We can help you develop that if that's something that you're interested in. We do find that when smaller groups kind of come together for accountability, the success is multiplied. virtual fitness education via our private Facebook page, virtual mindfulness workshops with Kelly Crow and our team, and our ongoing program. As they graduate this 12 weeks, they don't leave us, right? We continue to learn and grow and get the latest science, and we want to continue to share that with our tribe so that they will have access to that on our private Facebook page, as well as virtual ongoing meetings. We also have additional live Q&A sessions and personal health coaching sessions that are available if you decide that that's important for your organization to build into your program.
And I want to highlight once again what Kelly just said as far as the well-being ongoing. That's also what is so unique about this program is your employees, your organization can always be a part of us. So that way those sustainable behavior changes can persist. All right, designed for success and sustainability, motivated by purpose. Let me explain. There is a reason why the title of our program is Well-Being, a Tribe Planted with Purpose. That purpose is the foundational component for everyone in the program, and we help you identify your why. We, as a species, are capable of anything when we have a big enough reason. And the psychology that we promote is when you connect your reasons to your why, you create a reward mechanism. And that's how we engage and persist in behavior change. We teach you a step-down approach to ease into these nutritional changes. So yes, many people think it's most effective to do all or nothing. However, we have found with incremental change, with those nutritional changes, people do a lot better because the research on habit formation shows slow, sustainable, obtainable, measurable changes really promote that habit formation. We incorporate biofeedback and mindfulness every week. Every week, you and your employees will learn a new mindfulness tool. When they leave the program in 12 weeks, we want this arsenal of protection for them to live life and thrive through life. We talk about visual imagery, diaphragmatic breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and every week they learn this. And this is why we see things like anxiety and depression improve throughout the process. We teach you the why so you can do the how. When people are told, eat this, not that, that's not effective. I need meaning behind it. And when we talk about the science behind a low carbohydrate and ketogenic diet and why that is so effective for pretty much every component of your well-being, people buy in. They feel that it's far more necessary to make these changes. And then, of course, the private Facebook page is a beautiful space to create accountability and support and cheerleading, which is why we call ourselves a tribe, right? We are here to collectively kind of have a common purpose and common goal. And when people do this in a space where there is support, they're going to be far more effective. So yes, you can create this space of support within your organization, but it's beautiful that they can also join us and all of the other tribe members going from all other sorts of organizations or even just private patients going through the program. It is a beautiful thing to watch on the Facebook page. All right, I want to share with you some program results. So on average, participants going through the 12-week program, we see about an 8% total body weight loss. That is significant because we know per the research that just 5% of weight loss will absolutely change the trajectory of multiple disease developments, especially type 2 diabetes. This equates to about an average of 18 pounds per participant. We saw an average loss of 3 inches from their waistline. Why is that so important? It's not just so we look good in our outfit, but we know there's a direct correlation between carrying that weight in our abdominal region and the risk for type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and cardiovascular disease. We've seen a reduction in systolic blood pressure by 8%. Once again, that equates to reduction in medications and the risk reduction for multiple disease states, including cardiovascular disease, chronic kidney disease, cerebral vascular disease. So what have we seen with laboratory data? So hemoglobin A1C, this is a diagnostic and prognostic tool for both type 1, type 2 diabetes, and also pre-diabetes. And because our program really focuses on a low carb ketogenic diet, we see dramatic changes in these numbers. So let me explain. The diagnosis of type 2 diabetes is an A1C of 6.5 or higher, so anything greater than 6.4. Pre-diabetes is 5.7 to 6.4, so anything above 5.6. And on average, we've seen pre-programmed measurements of 7 reduced down to 5.8. So we're going from a diabetic to now a pre-diabetic in a 12-week time frame. And this is with no medications. And actuality is many people reduce their medications going through the program. A reduction of 1.2 milligrams per deciliter of an A1C is significant. When I have drug companies come into my office and promote their medications, they would be astounded if a medication had this same impact. Fasting blood glucose, we've seen reductions from 140 to 122. That's a reduction of 13% in a 12-week time frame. Once again, these metabolic markers are significant in risk reduction for multiple disease processes. Let me highlight for a second too the impact of type 2 diabetes. So if we have an employee who has pre-diabetes, and if we can change that trajectory and avoid the onset of type 2 diabetes, that's going to have tremendous implications on your healthcare expenditure for that individual. Type 2 diabetics are 2 to 3 times more costly than your non-diabetic employee. And right now, currently here in the United States, about 33% of the average American adult is either pre-diabetic or diabetic. And the expectation is that that pre-diabetic, that individual with an A1C of 5.8, within 5 years, up to 50% of them are going to develop into type 2 diabetes. So if we can move that mark for that individual and avoid the development of type 2 diabetes, that is significant on all levels. All right, triglycerides. This is part of our lipid profile, and we've seen dramatic reductions in triglycerides. Why? Because triglycerides are essentially a byproduct of excess carbohydrates. Our body, when we lose the ability to store glucose in the form of glycogen because we just have no more room to store it, it takes that glucose and transfers it into triglycerides within the liver. And then these triglycerides are then the precursor to the lipids like the LDL, the VLDL. And when we have high triglycerides, that's what leads to fatty liver disease. That's what leads to hyperlipidemia. So seeing a reduction in the triglycerides of 30% is significant. We see improvements in the cholesterol HDL ratio. So this is probably the most important number on that lipid profile when we're looking at cardiovascular disease risk. When we consume a low carbohydrate diet in conjunction certainly with exercise, that will dramatically increase the HDL, which is the good cholesterol that we want to increase. So let me share with you some individual success stories. I have 2 kind of participant examples here. These are actual participants who went and completed the program. So Steve lost 35 pounds, which was an 18% reduction in his total body weight. We saw a reduction in his A1C from 6.5 to 5.3. That's significant, 18% reduction. And his glucose went from 198 to 104, 47% reduction. And this gentleman was able to get off 1 antihypertensive medication, discontinued his statin, which is the cholesterol medication, and reduced his diabetes medications in half. Next, let's talk about Susan. Susan lost 20 pounds, which was a 10% reduction in her body weight. Susan had a phenomenal reduction in her A1C from 11.8 to 6.3. This is the kind of outcomes we can see when we radically improve our nutrition. Now, I will tell you, she was not placed on a diabetes medication. It was prescribed, however, she deferred the medication because she wanted to see what impact she could make going through the program. So this was all with dietary and exercise and sleep changes, 47% reduction. And her fasting glucose went from 326 to 125, 62% reduction. And look at the impact on her blood pressure, 148 over 81 to 110 over 70. Sorry, there was a misprint there. 26% reduction in that systolic blood pressure. Once again, not due to a medication. So let me highlight too here our non-scale victories. So while we love to see, yes, weight loss, and we'd love to see those laboratory studies change, at the end of the day, what is really going to move an individual is how they feel. Once again, let's circle back to the somatic awareness that we are trying to enrich in this process. My back pain is gone. I no longer have the chronic stomach issues I was plagued with. I don't know about you, but if any of you have back pain or deal with this chronic, I just feel bloated, I don't feel good, neither of those are very pleasant, right? So let's highlight that one. Next, improved cognition. My focus has improved greatly. My work performance is better than ever. This is the feedback we get so commonly, that focus, right? When we are maintaining our blood glucose level much more consistently, it has a direct impact on how we think and feel cognitively. Reduction in my headaches and migraines. My chronic headaches are far less frequent and way less severe. As a primary care physician, I have patients come to me all the time requiring or asking FMLA for their chronic migraines. There's a tremendous amount of work lost for your employees who suffer from migraines. And if we can help reduce the severity and frequency, that is significant. Improve self-image. I'm more confident and I actually feel comfortable in my own skin. Honestly, this is one of my most favorite non-scale victories. When we can have an individual merely walk through life with their head held high and feel more valuable and joyful, to me, way better than a scale moving. Just have greater joy in life. I'm no longer using insulin to manage my diabetes. Yes, we have had participants completely get rid of their insulin to manage their type 2 diabetes. Early success equals continued motivation. The nature of the nutritional changes that we promote create pretty significant change early on, and this absolutely helps people stay focused and stay connected. And of course, yes, when we're seeing this continued success, right, we want to continue moving forward. Improve mood. I thought I was destined for an antidepressant. This program has changed my life. Now, I want to be transparent. I'm not saying that every individual going through this program is going to be a cure for their depression, but you will definitely see dramatic improvements in the mood of many individuals. All right, I'm going to have Kelly kind of talk on this slide as well.
Sure. So you're sitting here listening to all these wonderful things that well-being can do for you, and you want to kind of jump in. I want you to know that we partner with you in this process. It is not just a, yep, let's do this for my organization, and here we are. We know that each organization has a specific and unique communication style, and we will work with you to get the word out. We know that communication is paramount, and we want to make sure that how we present well-being to your organization is well received. We will also deliver a virtual open house Q&A session much like this, so your employees can hear from the team. They get to meet us ahead of time, and they get to kind of understand what they're getting themselves into. We are as kind of a self-contained program. We supply your registration link and manage all of the paperwork, so your HR department, your wellness team does not have to deal with that. However, we can coordinate with existing wellness initiatives and programs. So if you already have a wellness program in place, there is still a place for well-being in that, and we can, definitely work together. We can manage the delivery of all of the weekly sessions to your employees, or because it's housed on our website, we can package it so you can deliver that communication weekly to your employees and send out those links. Again, that's all part of our kind of partnership as we get started. Then we can share the aggregate data post-program with you. We talked about those pre-program measurements. We talk about a subjective survey that we have people fill out before the program and after the program. We can put that information together for you so that you can really see the value of your investment in well-being after the fact.
Beautiful.
We also want to make sure that you are successful, and some of these key points to make sure that your organization is successful with this program is senior leadership supporting the program and participating in the program alongside your employees. Outside of that, we need to see this kind of trickle down into management support. If we don't have that trickle down effect from the top to all key players, then things kind of fizzle out. So managers and supervisors also need to be supportive of the program and participate if possible. We want to designate a key contact for your employees and for our team so that that communication can be streamlined and effective. You may want to consider an employee-employer cost-sharing option. This is something that we have seen to be effective in having employees have a little skin in the game. You know, there's a lot of research out there with wellness incentives and whether or not we're kind of giving the employees the farm with programming. And if you want to look at a cost-sharing option, we are here to have that conversation with you, share some of our best practices to set you up for success. And then having encouraging and consistent messaging throughout the program and beyond is also vital. So we talk about, you know, we can deliver this program for you, but if there's not that consistent message and that, hey guys, how's everybody doing in the well-being program, and other, you know, kind of pieces sprinkled in throughout your organization, sometimes progress can halt. And then also keeping up that communication about our ongoing piece as well.
And I want to highlight again on that senior leadership component. So we want to be very transparent. The only way your organization will have success is if you are leading and modeling it as the leaders of your organization. And it truly must be a priority across the board. So I just want to be transparent about that. All right. We also want to let you know that we are really committed to creating this community of wellness within your organization, because for every dollar that you contribute to the cost of this wellness program for your employees, we're going to go ahead and take 10% and give it back to a community organization of your choice. So we want you and your employees to see a direct impact when they improve their health, their wellness, when they have a combined purpose together. They're changing the community and the world around them. So 10% will be given back to a community organization that you all get to choose.
Okay, so if your organization is ready to take on well-being, we want you to go ahead and reach out to us. You can call me. My phone number is here on the screen. You can send me an email as well at kelly@wellbeingtribe.com. And we can go ahead and, you know, dig a little bit deeper in what it would look like for us to package this program and deliver it to your organization.
And we understand that every organization is unique, which is why we're willing to work and hopefully meet your needs and your employees. So thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to share with you our vision, ignite the purpose of one to transform the well-being of many. So please know, for every individual that we impact, there is a wake of beautiful change that takes place. And me and my team, we get excited for that one participant to make positive changes in their life, because we know it will have such a lasting imprint. We thank you for your time and your attention, and we cannot wait to work with you and help transform you, your employees, and your entire organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you.